Sonia Sotomayor, who didn't give a fair shake in court to firefighters deprived promotion on account of race. Every American understands the sacrifices firefighters make, but on Sotomayor's court, the content of your character is not as important as the color of your skin.
That was an ad from the conservative group Judicial Confirmation Network on the president's Supreme Court pick, Sonia Sotomayor. The president this morning, perhaps sensing the fight ahead on Capitol Hill, is urging senators to give his nominee a fair shake.
I hope the Senate acts in a bipartisan fashion, as it has in confirming Judge Sotomayor twice before.
Alicia Menendez is a Democratic strategist. Chris Wilson is a Republican strategist. Chris, I wonder if Republicans are in something of a box here, given that she's Hispanic, given that she was first nominated to the bench by President George H.W. Bush, a Republican.
Yeah, well, I think there's the truth is she was nominated by Patrick Moynihan in an exchange agreement. So let's not make this out as if she was originally appointed by former President Bush. But I think there's two words that come to mind when I look at this nominee, and one is unqualified, the other one is radical. And I think Obama really reached too far here in what he had. He feels like he's got the votes, so let's go find someone and push them through. And when you look at her record, more than 90% of her opinions have been overturned in the appeal process. She's been called not that smart by her former clerks. I mean, this is just someone that I think he really overreached with.
Name one specifically on the record who has said that. Name one.
This is from an article by Jeffrey Rosen in the New Republic.
No,
hardly a conservative bastion that made.
An anonymous source he cited. It's
well,
not
these are people
fair.
these are people, Dave, who are arguing in front of her. You really think they're going to have their names released? I mean, let's be honest.
But the fact of the matter is, it is totally unfair and it's totally uncalled for to repeat something like that when somebody cites an anonymous source. If they're not willing to put their name up,
I completely disagree. These are people who have to argue in front of her in court.
Outrageous.
These are people who have to argue in front of her in court and can't say something like that on the record.
Your thoughts?
David, you're right. And what we're seeing already are the type of smear tactics that we're going to see for in the next 70, 60 days, that we're going to be told she's not smart enough. Like, you graduate summa from Princeton and they give it to you just because you're Puerto Rican. It's a joke. This woman is brilliant. She has tons of experience, and I think that she was a wonderful choice. As a Latina myself, I am very, very proud of her, proud to be a Democrat, and I think that Republicans are going to walk a very tight line here. You know, if they want to come back, if they don't want to be reduced to a regional party, they have to make inroads with Hispanics. Hispanics handed Barack Obama the nomination this year and his election, and I think that Republicans would be remiss to go after this too hard.
I have to say, to imply that somehow people are going to oppose her because of her race is absolutely offensive. She was overturned 9-0, 7-2, and 9-0. Are you somehow saying that the 9 justices who overruled her, to overrule her 9-0? I mean, give me a break. This is not someone who's qualified to serve on the bench.
This is one of these issues where you have the politics and the law sort of talking past each other. There's a great political argument that maybe this is a bad thing for Republicans to oppose it, but then there's also the argument that Jonathan Turley, who's not political in any sort of fashion, makes a pretty compelling argument for maybe why some people might be disappointed in her opinions. But in any case, two separate issues. Alicia Menendez, a Democratic strategist, Chris Wilson, a Republican strategist. Thank you both for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you, David.